LeBron James looking like he'll return tonight against the Knicks at the Garden, but is it too little too late to avoid that play-in game? The Aaron Rodgers rumors continue. Wait till you hear what Davante Adams had to say about it. And Tim Tebow! Hey, Tebow is back! Woo. I get to finally say it.
Time.
Tim Tebow is back. With that, we say good Tuesday morning, everyone. Welcome to First Things First. Jenna Wolfe, Nick Wright. You couldn't be happier about the news. Brandon Marshall, Kevin Wild. As I always like to say when it comes to the NFL, second time's a charm. Am I right?
Oh, I agree. Another Patriot great making their mark on today's NFL. Can't wait for it.
We have a fabulous show for you today, and we are going to start with the big news out of the NBA. History made last night. The new king of triple-doubles is one Russell Westbrook. Russ breaking Oscar Robertson's 47-year-old record with number 182 last night in a Wizards loss to the Hawks. That's not as important now. Russ averaging a triple-double over the last 5 seasons. It has simply been amazing what he's done. Here is Russ on the once thought to be unattainable record.
Normally I don't like to pat myself on the back, but tonight I will, just because I'm so grateful for the ones before me and so blessed and thankful for the men above for allowing me to go out and do what I do. And I take this job very seriously, and I'm super grateful for all my teammates and coaches along my journey thus far. I'm the best playmaker in this league, and I know that in my mind, and I do that every night. I know it seems normal, and that seems normal, and at least from my point of view, but it's not, man. I take a lot of pride in it.
A lot of praise from around the league. His teammate Bradley Beal tweeting, "It's been an honor and a blessing to share the floor with you, Brody. Congratulations on making history, 182 and counting." How about his original team, the Thunder, adding from your first triple-double in 2009 to the most ever. Congratulations, Russ.
Oh, that's nice.
Even AI, Allen Iverson. Oh. With this, just watched history being made. Congratulations on breaking a record no one thought would be broken. Well deserved. All right, Nick, how does the triple-double record impact Russ's legacy?
Well, this will be Russ's legacy, breaking a truly unbreakable record. There's a great video going around from a decade ago of a young LeBron and Jason Kidd and a bunch of guys being asked about averaging a triple-double for just one season, what Oscar Robertson did, and them saying, oh, no, that will never happen again. And now Russ has done it 4 times in 5 years. Russ has 182 triple-doubles in his career, but he has 174 triple-doubles in his last 500 games. He only had 8 triple-doubles the first 6 seasons of his career. What he has done over the last 7 years is remarkable, and by the way, it has led to winning. His teams win 75% of the games that he has had a triple-double. That is a 61-win pace. But before we really dive into the numbers of it, I want to talk about the emotion of it. Because, Jenna, you'll remember me saying this years ago about Russ, and I stand by it to this day. If you are a parent and you have a child, boy or girl, that plays sports, the person you should have them watch is Russell Westbrook. His respect for the game, his dedication, his relentlessness, his drive, the way that if you watch him, you cannot tell in an era of load management and easing yourself into the year and trying to peak for the postseason, you cannot tell if this is Game 6 of the conference finals or Game 6 of the season. The way he attacks every game, every possession is admirable and should be taught across sports. That's the emotional side. The practical side, if we can show this quickly, is he is at worst one of the 35 greatest players ever, likely one of the 30 greatest players ever. And look at that resume. Most triple-doubles ever. 4 seasons averaging a triple-double. A league MVP. 9 times All-NBA. Might make it 10 times this year. 2 scoring titles, 3 assist titles. Brandon, I feel like Russ, we got numb to the triple-double. And because of that, I think he became a little underrated by some, particularly some that only watch basketball through the prism of numbers as opposed to actually watching the games. He is an all-time great player who deserves this moment.
100%. And it's time to give us his flowers, not only today, but moving forward. I mean, this will be debated all day on every sports show. It will be debated for years to come. And that's what makes it great. There's going to be people on both sides of this conversation. And some people are going to say, well, why don't you see him as great? And there's going to be some say, why do you see him as great? Well, that's what makes this so phenomenal, because we haven't seen this in almost 50 years. I mean, Russell Westbrook, and Nick, you hit it on the head as far as his legacy. This is his legacy. His legacy is solidified. I don't know what title you want to give him. I've been sitting here for almost 2 hours trying to figure out, he's the greatest of all time in this category. I don't know what that is. Most athletic NBA player, most dominant NBA player, most explosive. I don't see anyone touching this. Not only that, when you talk about all of sports, this is what you dream of, is to be able to dominate for a decade, the consistency. You got to think about everything he had to work through, Wilds, the injuries to keep it going, the perseverance when Kevin Durant left. He didn't leave OKC, he stayed there and said, you know what, I'll try to figure it out. So I absolutely love what Russell Westbrook has done. Not everybody is going to cheer him. Not everybody is going to give him his flowers. But this feat is nothing short of phenomenal. All of the NBA greats are celebrating him today. You saw what Allen Iverson tweeted. We never, in all caps, never thought this would be broken. 47 years, unbelievable.
You know what, Brandon? I thought his legacy is a lot like his fashion. He always tries very, very hard. He's usually amazing, and occasionally it backfires. Usually, he is, whatever it is, though, it's one of a kind. In his game, Nick, look at this one. Look at the gloves. Come on. Let's go. That's why his game, Nick, you watch other guys play basketball, but you have a Russell Westbrook experience. My buddy Kirk Goldsberry tried to outline that experience and how good he is at rebounding the ball and passing the ball. So look at him. He's a total outlier up there in the right corner with assists and rebounds, right next to the Joker. But then you look at his shooting chart. This is Goldsberry's bread and butter. And it is icy, icy cold. Good around the rim, but he's been knocked for being, quite frankly, not a great shooter. So, Nick, there's a few people, largely in the analytics community, who don't like his game. And you say he's a winner, but, he's never had a deep, deep playoff run. Never, well, they went to the finals, so I shouldn't say that. But it's more, he hasn't won the championship, and I think a lot of people hold that against him.
Listen, he's not a perfect player, but there's only 2 guys in the entire league that check every box. It's LeBron and Durant. They're the only 2. And every other guy we can poke holes at. What hurts Russ is the analytics. We are in the era of efficiency, and Russ's biggest weakness is efficiency. Listen, if he had a silky smooth jump shot, he would be one of the 10 greatest players ever. If you had all of what he brings to the table, plus a great jump shot, he would simply be on the contingent for the Mount Rushmore of NBA players. It's his one weakness, but because of that, the same folks that were screaming at the top of their lungs at me last week that not only is Nikola Jokic the MVP, Nikola Jokic is actually having one of the 8 greatest seasons in NBA history, I almost said a bad word. Those folks that can only watch basketball through the numbers don't see the fact that he clearly impacts winning in a positive way. And I want to bring up a historical comp quickly, Wilds, that we brought up last week that on its face seems absurd, but I don't think it is. And that was John Stockton. Now, John Stockton and Russ, their games are not similar, but their all-time NBA ranking is very, very close to each other. And Stockton does not have hung around his neck, oh, well, he could never win. Why not? Because he lost to Jordan? Okay, well, Russ got to the finals and lost to LeBron. The next time he was on a great team in the first game of the playoffs, he got his knee torn up by Patrick Beverley. The next time he was on a great team and got deep in the playoffs, they were up 3-1 on Golden State and lost to an all-time great team. It's like, okay, yeah, but Russ had Kevin Durant. Yeah, and Stockton had Karl Malone, and they have the same number of championships. And nobody tries to pick away at Stockton's resume the way people do with Russ. He is going to finish his career as one of the 30 greatest players ever. If that's not enough for people, I guess I don't know what is.
All right, Russell Westbrook with a record-breaking night in the NBA. We will have much more on this still to come, but we got to take a turn. Talk some football. Why should the latest news have Patrick Mahomes feeling nervous? Wait till you hear what he heard. First things first, back after this. Drawing a blank now. According to the NFL Network, there is a, quote, real possibility that Aaron Rodgers is traded to the Denver Broncos, putting perhaps the top two quarterbacks on the planet in the same division. Brandon, if Rodgers does head to Denver, Patrick Mahomes should feel blank.
In the wise words of Phillip Rivers, gosh darn it. Nick, that's what your boy's going to be saying. Yeah. Gosh darn it. Yeah. Look, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the National Football League right now. But at the end of the day, if Aaron Rodgers went to the Denver Broncos with a top 10 wide receiving core, with a really good offensive line, he got some interesting pieces on defense. If you're Patrick Mahomes, you got to say gosh darn it, because for the past couple of years, you've been sitting like, oh, this is my division. This is easy. You knew you had an easy route to the playoffs. Yeah. But when Aaron Rodgers steps into the house, you're going to be like, wow, did he just go 10 plays, 12-play drive? Gosh darn it. It's 4th and 10. Yeah. Did he just convert? Gosh darn it. It's 3rd and 20. He just converted again. Gosh darn it. He's about to score another touchdown. So you know what I really want to say? You know what Patrick Mahomes probably would say? Yeah. But I'm going to go with Phillip Rivers. Gosh darn it.
Gosh darn it. Listen, before I give my answer, as a Chiefs fan, obviously this wouldn't be ideal. But it would be nice for the residents of Denver to have a legitimate MVP in their city. So in that regard, I'd be happy for him. But my answer is 2064, 11, and 19. What do those three numbers mean? 2064. That is how many days it has been since the Broncos beat the Chiefs. 11. That is how many straight wins the Chiefs have over the Broncos. And for some context of the day, 19. That is how many career triple doubles Russell Westbrook had the last time the Broncos beat the Chiefs. So Aaron Rodgers, Schmerin Rodgers, I'm not too worried until the Broncos can show this century they can hang with the Chiefs. So no, not worried. Not worried at all, Wild.
Creative answer, but they better be worried.
I cannot get enough of this matchup. So I went to my old crystal ball and I have a prediction. This is what I want to happen. 4 games is my answer. So Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are coming to Kansas City. They're on the schedule. When it's going to be, we don't know. If it's early in the year, so you got Aaron Rodgers with Mahomes at Arrowhead, then trade him to Denver. Then you got 2 more games against Patrick Mahomes, and then play in the playoffs. So overall, we get 4 games. Whoa, ratings bonanza. That's what I want. 4 games, Mahomes and Rodgers.
I like that. 4-0. Get a 15-game winning streak.
Great.
To the NBA, LeBron James got out and practiced yesterday, expected to return to the lineup tonight at the Garden against the Knicks. LeBron's only played 2 games since March 21st, out with that ankle injury, as the Lakers have been fighting to avoid the play-in. So, Brandon, LeBron's return should have Lakers fans feeling blank.
Tentative, Jenna. that was never not going to not happen, right? Like, we knew LeBron James was going to come back. That wasn't the problem. The problem was AD. Now, Nick, you and I both said the brawl is back. The brawl is back. You had the little sticky thing on your head yesterday. He played phenomenal.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But we need to see him do it game after game after game. I think he will, because if you watch the game, you saw this dude just be aggressive. He didn't act like KD. That's not what AD did. He didn't stay out there, look pretty, and try to shoot threes. He got in the paint. He was aggressive. He was dominant. He made the right decisions, getting his other guys involved. But we need to see what AD is going to continue to do. So we knew that, but they should be happy but tentative at the same time.
Brandon, with respect, I take all that commentary you just gave and I reject it on its face. Because I was told a week ago that, quote, the Lakers are a bad team. I was told just yesterday by Wilds, the Lakers should be scared of the play-in. So, listen, LeBron is basically the oldest player in the league. Rick Bucher told me on Speak, Rick Bucher said Father Time caught up to LeBron 2 years ago. So LeBron's return should have Laker fans feeling like they are, like underdogs. Listen, man, they're going to be the 7 seed probably. They obviously will be lucky to even make the actual playoffs, and when they do, they'll be heavy underdogs against either the Jazz or the Suns. So no. What? No.
You've been riding this underdog wave for 3 weeks.
He's an old injured man in Kawhi City,
America, don't listen
who
to
is
Nick.
just playing out the string. So listen, Wilds, maybe they get a game or two in round 1. I don't know, but like underdogs, with or without LeBron, they're just underdogs, man. It's what it is.
That's a fair point. You know, I think Lakers fans should be excited to watch the return of a great player get back on the court at Staples. Problem is, the player's Julius Randle. Oh, New York is back, baby. Remember Julius Randle? Remember you drafted him? And then LeBron showed up. He's like, you know what? I'm out of here. Well, look what he has blossomed into. Oh, more scoring, more rebounds, more assists. All of a sudden, he's like J.J. Redick out there from the three-point line. He shoots better from free throw. Oh, you miss him. You'll miss him when he's gone, and he's long gone now. New York gets a big win over LeBron minutes restriction James.
The worst move LeBron James, the GM, has ever made.
If you like that from Wilds, you'll really like this. Is Weird and Wonderful. D-backs hosting Marlins last night. Sandy Leon trying to get Miami close to the night. Check out Pavin Smith robbing the home run. Watch this again for the final out. How about that? Pretty wonderful. But our guy Wilds with even more wonderful. Kevin, what do you got?
Oh, Orioles, Red Sox. Red Sox, best team in the whole major leagues. Shift was on. Xander had to come all the way from second, bobbles it, and look at Cedric Mullins speeding around the bases. All of a sudden, he's at third, and who's trying to put down the catch? The catcher. Wild stuff happening. That's why it's a weird play. Cedric Mullins, great job hustling. Let this be a lesson to all baseball players out there. Just keep running, and maybe you'll see the catcher on third base. Also, shout out to Xander Bogaerts, pride of Aruba. Nick, next time you go to Aruba, there's plenty of there's a nice Xander Bogaerts plaque there. Oh, and this is wonderful. Post anthem. This is not during the anthem. We're not running the music. Umpire's like, let's go, guys. No, it's a stare down. Pirates, Reds. First person to move loses, refuses to go. Come on. They're like, come on. Just let them stay out there. Let them stay out there. Winner, place your bets right now. Place your bets. Place your bets.
Is this what we're doing in baseball?
Reds win.
That's
love it.
fantastic.
More.
Back to Aaron Rodgers.
More.
And something his top target said that might make the Packers a little nervous. They're still out there. This is first things first.
What? More drama? It's not over yet?
Get ready for the release of the NFL schedule tomorrow at 8 Eastern on FS1 and NFL Network Plus. Starting tomorrow, fans can purchase single-game tickets at NFL.com/tickets. And it gets better, but wait, there's more. Fox Super 6 is giving away $5,000 It's easy. One of the questions is this: what will be the first Fox America's game of the week? Kevin Wildes, why don't you tell us what you're hoping for?
Oh, I'll tell you what I'm hoping for, Jenna. You know, they call them America's team, one of the greatest dynasties in all of sports, and they will be playing the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys-Patriots is the game that I'm hoping for, Jenna.
God.
That's gonna be good. The old switcheroo. Download the Super 6 app and play for free for your chance to win. One of the things we will be talking about this football season, of course, is Aaron Rodgers. The drama continues. The question of will he stay or will he go will have more of an impact than we even thought. We learned yesterday that Rodgers' teammate, his top target, his buddy, his #1, Davante Adams, is paying very close attention to what Rodgers does. Davante joined the herd yesterday. Take a listen to this.
Let's be honest here. This is not a shot at Jordan Love, but if Aaron moved on, you have such an incredible working relationship with him. Would it affect your future in Green Bay?
Potentially. I mean, that's my guy. That's the only guy that I've had, other than that 2017 season when he got hurt. It's the only guy that I played with. And, we built up a special connection over the years that has made it, put us both in really good positions in our career. Not that he needed me to come along for it because he was already in that spot, but we established a lot together. So it would change a lot, man. Doesn't mean potentially I'd be gone, but, I definitely have to do some extra thinking if my guy wasn't here.
So, Brandon, this is interesting. It's one thing to just deal with Aaron Rodgers, but when Aaron Rodgers starts affecting other, dominoes and pieces that are starting to get moved around, what do you think the organization should be thinking after hearing something like this?
OMG. Listen, I said it last week. I said it the week before. This isn't a negotiation. This is a hostile takeover. No, both sides are dug in, and I don't even think you can do anything. I don't even think you can fix this. You got to think about it. There's reports out there that said that he turned down a contract that would put him as the #1 quarterback, as far as the highest paid quarterback in the National Football League. He's telling free agents, don't come. I could potentially not be there. So I don't know if there's anything they can do. For Davante Adams to stand up and say that on the herd yesterday, that just shows how big of a mess this is. But I understand exactly what he's feeling, meaning the receiver, Davante Adams. I was in the same situation in 2009. Josh McDaniels becomes the head coach of the Denver Broncos, 2010. And within 3 weeks, Jay Cutler had his house on the market. 3 days later, I had my house on the market. Jay Cutler out, I'm out. I get it. The most important thing a receiver needs is a quarterback, especially when you have that type of chemistry and continuity. Like, there's just something special about that relationship. You don't have to give hand signals. You'll see most wide receivers and quarterbacks on Sundays, give a 1, give a 2, do different type of hand signals. You'll see some guys verbally communicate. When you have the relationship that Davante has with Aaron, you don't even have to talk. You just look out there and you guys both see it. It's 2 men. You call the slant. There's no way I can beat this guy inside. What do we do? Okay, then I'm going to run a whip route. Those are things that just naturally happen because you're so in tune with one another. So Davante Adams, he's in a tough spot, but what we're going to see is Davante, if something happens with Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams will be sitting at the table with the Green Bay Packers saying, hey, guys, this is not a great fit for me. Because what are you going to say? Mr. Brian Gutekunst, your legacy is attached to Jordan Love, and you want mine to be attached to Jordan Love? Please. So, Nick, I don't know if there's anything they can do.
Well, listen, what they could do for Davante is right now offer him a contract to make him the highest paid receiver in the league. That probably would get it done, but that's not their style. He's got 1 year left on his deal, and my guess is if it was all good with Aaron Rodgers, if there was no question that Rodgers was going to be there for the next 4 seasons, say, then I bet they could come to Davante and say, hey, with 1 year left on your deal, we would like to extend you early at, a big raise, but not quite top of the market. And I think Davante would think about it. Now, he has played like a receiver that should reset the marketplace, but it's like, okay, it's going to be me and Aaron. The cost of living in Green Bay isn't exactly high. Like, all right, let's go. Let's try to do it. If Aaron's not going to be there, then I don't think they can get Davante under contract for anything under the highest paid receiver in NFL history. So how this probably plays out is he plays this season, they franchise him next season, and then if Aaron's not there, he hits free agency at age 30. Hopefully he's healthy, he's still productive, and he can cash in that way. What I found most interesting, Wilds, was I rewatched this whole interview. At the very beginning of this, Davante says, almost unprompted, that he has not talked to Aaron. And it just got me thinking, I'm like, man, if he hasn't talked to Aaron Rodgers, then how many of his teammates actually have? Like, this is your best teammate. So the best player on your team other than you, and it's the guy that you have the on-field closest relationship with. And Davante, now maybe he's not telling the truth, but he seemed to be being honest. He said, yeah, I haven't talked to Aaron. So I do wonder if some of the Packers players are operating from a bit of a black box informationally. They knew Aaron was unhappy. They know Aaron maybe doesn't respect the GM. But if they were, he said he was golfing and then heard the reports and was blindsided by them. I don't think he saw it coming that Aaron Rodgers might want out of Green Bay any more than we saw it coming.
So, Brandon, I'll dig in on what Nick's question is. Is it weird for quarterbacks not to have personal relationships with their teammates? Like, there was another report that, like, I think it was from Tristan Wirfs, like, he doesn't have Tom Brady's phone number. And I think that it's like, as fans, I assume that everyone's like friendly with everybody. Then I started like working with you, and I keep calling you, and I never get a call back. I get no text back. It goes straight to voicemail. I don't know if you changed your number on me or what's going on. Right. What's going on? Just kidding. Brandon actually a very good texter. Nick, however, terrible texter. So is it weird that Davante Adams hasn't been like super informed on this as they move forward?
No, it's not weird. Remember, what's the receiver? The receiver's name? Kumerow, the receiver that Aaron Rodgers wanted.
Jake Kumerow.
What's his name again? Jake Kumerow. Remember what we talked about was, you know, the quarterback, sometimes they just have one or two guys in the locker room that they really confide to, that they hang out with. Everybody else, yeah, you could be a great teammate, but I'm not going to tell you everything. I'm not going to tell you about what's going on in my relationship. And it takes me back to 2010 when Jay Cutler was going through his situation with the Denver Broncos and Coach McDaniels. No one heard from Jay Cutler. You know, we walked in every single day, Ryan Clady, Tony Scheffler, Champ Bailey, Eddie Roy, and we all like, did you hear from Jay today? Did you hear from Jay today? Coaches, did you hear from Jay? Nobody heard from him. Why? Because Bus Cook went and sat down with Jay and said, don't talk to no one, because you don't need your business to get out. Because what we're doing over here, we don't want the Broncos to know. So it could be more of strategy than, you know, a relationship thing where Aaron Rodgers, like, if I tell Davante what I'm really thinking, that it may mess up how I'm approaching my business right now, Jenna.
So Brandon, so you just like drove by his house and saw it was for sale, and you were like, oh damn, got to put mine up. Like how? Like so? Like what happened? You're like knocking on the door, like Jay, what's going? Are you leaving?
Woody Page like posted something in the Denver Post, and I was like, what? I was like, I didn't even know how to find a realtor back then. I was like, I need to find a realtor. I need to put my house on the market. And a year later, we sold it, and I was in Miami.
Real. You're so real and honest. I love that.
Great story.
Time for Nick's NBA Men's. Trae Young dropping 36 and 9 last night as the Hawks beat Russ's Wizards, but it wasn't good enough for Nick. Nick, who made the podium today?
Sorry, Trey, you get left off, as does Sabonis. Sabonis had a great game, but not great enough. Bronze, this is an all-NBA point guard list. Dame time, 34, 9, and 6. The Blazers scored 50 in the first quarter. I looked at it, I said, are they playing the Nets? No, playing the Rockets. All right, bronze for Dame. Silver medal, Steph, 36, 4, and 6. Warriors almost blew this game late, but they were able to hold on, despite, by the way, Jordan Clarkson with a perfect Jordan Clarkson line of 41 points, 0 assists off the bench. And then the gold, of course.
Let's go, Steph. Cook,
Russell
baby.
Westbrook, 28, 13, and 21. There was a game his MVP season, where he set the triple-double record, I think it was against Denver, where Russ hit a three to win it, to give him 50 points, the triple-double record, and the win. I thought we were going to get that last night when he took the potential game winner, but it was short. Despite that, he gets the gold as he passes Oscar Robertson for the all-time career triple-doubles record. There are, Jenna, your medals for May 10th in the NBA.
Can't argue with you tonight, Nick. Cannot argue with that night right there. Wilds, though, who came close, buddy? Who just missed the cut?
Oh, busy day for the poster makers in San Antonio. First up, Brooke Lopez dunks on the Spurs. Oh no. Fire up the poster machine. Then Giannis. Three guys. So congratulations, San Antonio posters. You'll be quite busy thanks to the Milwaukee Bucks.
Lopez dunking on folks like that.
What are you doing? How do you lose that game? Bucks trying to get the 2 seed.
Who's that?
Because they're not real. They're not
making their way back to the NFL. Talking some Tim Tebow on the other side. Firing Nick up this morning. You're not going to want to miss it. We heard it all morning long. Now you will.
Speaking of things that shouldn't be
real. Let's go, Tebow. Tebow time.
This story.
Sunday, the NASCAR Cup Series is on FS1. Get ready as the best in the business battle it out for 400 miles at the Monster Mile. Catch the green flag action Sunday 2 Eastern on FS1
Jenna.
And the Fox Sports app. Resident NASCAR fan Brandon Marshall all in on just the sport in general now.
Rowdy time.
There you go.
Now Tim Tebow time.
Time for stories to start your morning, sponsored by Subway. And yes, B. Marsh, we are talking Tim Tebow. Why? Well, according to reports, the Jacksonville Jaguars are planning to sign him not as a quarterback, but as a tight end, which would reunite him with his college coach, Urban Meyer. Tebow is 33 years old. We're the same age. He hasn't played in the NFL since 2012. And he's coming off an attempted baseball career. So, Brandon, let me start with you. How does all this sit with you?
I had to throw all that in there. 2012. Hasn't played football. He's been playing pro baseball. He's still been active. Follow him on IG. The kid looks good. Like, follow him. He's in shape. He's ready to go. Look, we had Brian Westbrook on this topic earlier on the show, and he took the right stance, right? From a player's perspective, professional sports. Look, respect the game, right? Like, this guy hasn't been in the National Football League for years. He hasn't been active. He's never played tight end. So what is the message? What message are you sending to the players in that locker room or the guys that's been trying to make a team for 2 or 3 years? That's Westbrook. A lot of validity behind that. But here's my stance. Why not? Why not give this kid a shot? Like Urban Myers, he's familiar with them. He'll be a great asset for the locker room. And then if he comes in through camp and he actually balls, we're all going to be tuned in watching him. That's what's going to happen. All these people today talking about Tim Tebow and why he's not deserving of an opportunity and why this shouldn't be. They're all going to be tuned in watching Tim Tebow. Ratings are going to be up. Ticket sales are going to be up. It's good for business. This dude could potentially be a guy that gives you 30 catches. I'm taking the over on the 30 catches, Nick.
What?
Kevin. I'm taking the over.
That's Wilds, go ahead. I have to digest what Brandon just said.
All right,
30 catches.
Yes, Brandon. I want to be optimistic, and I'm allowed to have this opinion. Much like a restaurant that only sells ice cream sandwiches, I can love it with all my heart and still not think it's going to work. Because if it was going to work, it would have worked with the Patriots. It would have worked with Bill Belichick. Tim Tebow showed up in 2013. He was 25 years old. He was reunited with Josh McDaniels, who ushered him to his best success in Denver. And he also was under the tutelage of the world's greatest coach, Bill Belichick. And Bill Belichick likes to look for not positional players, but just football players in general. You got Hall of Famer Julian Edelman. Guess what? You're going to return punts. You're also going to play a little bit of defense. How about you got, Mike Vrabel, defensive player? Guess what? You're going to catch a few touchdowns too. And the fact that we had Tim Tebow and he played 2 preseason games and he was signed to a 2-year contract, no guaranteed money, obviously. And Bill Belichick's like,
oh my goodness.
Sorry, buddy. It's not going to work. So I do think, Nick, that Tim Tebow would be an amazing coach for Urban Meyer. I think he'd be great in the locker room and just an overall wonderful sort of veteran presence. We know that he's like an A-plus motivator and sort of like spiritual leader as well.
Yeah.
So I think he'd be great. Do I think he's going to get 30 catches like Brandon? No way.
Well, Brandon's a naturally optimistic person, and it's good, and I appreciate Brandon rooting for people. But I don't think anyone actually believes he's going to get 30 catches. I don't think people think he's going to make the team. All right, I'm going to take this conversation briefly to a different place because I feel obligated to say it because it's an obvious point of hypocrisy. But Tim Tebow has been out of football for years. He is getting an opportunity to make a roster as a backup or third stringer, despite the fact there will be massive undue media attention on it, and there will be some people in the locker room who love it and some people in the locker room who hate it. If only such opportunities were afforded to pick a name out of the air, Colin Kaepernick. Caps won 4 playoff games since the last time Tim Tebow played a single down in the NFL. He was on an active roster 4 years more recently than Tebow, and he's been blackballed out of the league for years. So I feel like that has to be a part of this conversation if we're all of a sudden giving guys another opportunity. A guy who's only been out of the league 4 years as opposed to a guy who's been out of the league 10 maybe should be higher in the queue. But as far as what this does for Jacksonville, I don't understand why the Jags are taking this really good positive momentum of Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence and the draft they just had and muddying the waters with a sideshow of a guy who's going to be 34 years old playing a new position. I don't get why you would do that. It's not like you need... Football's not a sport, Wilds, where your local television ratings are a thing, right? I don't want to get into the minutiae of that, but like baseball and basketball, your teams can make money based on how many people are watching their local market. Brandon, that's not how the NFL works. All the teams get the same TV dollars. And Jacksonville...
but let me... Yes, it is. Jacksonville, we're talking about a team that was a couple years ago talking about relocating to London, right? So we're talking about ticket sales. Why do we have blackout games in Jacksonville?
Okay, that's
so
true.
From a business standpoint, it can make sense. Tim Tebow's from the Jacksonville area, so it definitely can make sense.
Yes.
But to go back to your Colin Kaepernick point, I'm glad that you brought it up because you are right about that. But that's about politics, and this is about sports and entertainment. So Colin Kaepernick, we know why he hasn't gotten his just due. We know why he hasn't gotten another opportunity to prove that he can be a starting quarterback in this league. But Tim Tebow, we're talking about entertainment. That's what we're talking about here. And whilst I am in awe, I'm just like lost for words because you're a guy on this show that has a whole segment called Wild, Weird, and Wonderful. So I thought you'd be the first person standing on the table for Tim Tebow because you would get that this is about entertainment.
No, I totally agree with you, but there's a hierarchy to my belief system, and one is that Bill Belichick doesn't make mistakes. So if Bill Belichick let go of Tim Tebow, obviously I have to adhere to that. So it's just the pecking order of how I make my decisions, but it's totally fair. Nick, I will push back on you because you said that there is a spot earlier this week. If there's a spot on a team for a guy that can provide some leadership, a guy that makes the team feel good, then you should offer that person the spot. And that was our buddy Jake Kummerow, who was released by the Packers, and he went on to fame of like one catch in Buffalo. Like, give him a spot. There's 53 spots. Like, who cares? It's just one. Right. So if you can have a motivational leader on the squad who also wanted to try out for tight end, sure, you want to suit up, fine, because it makes you a better leader if you can also suit up. That's fine. But why is this wildly different from the Jake Kummerow story?
Because Jake Kummerow was about making your most valuable player happy. I do not think this will be popular in the locker room. Maybe I will be proven wrong, but I do not... Tim Tebow was winning championships at the University of Florida at the tail end of the Bush administration and the beginning of the Obama administration, guys. I don't think there are a lot of guys in the Jags locker room who are like, oh my God, that was my guy. That was my favorite player. I think there are going to be guys in the locker room that any guy, Brandon, that is an early cut,
well,
if Tebow is still there,
right,
all of those guys will be like, oh, my buddy's not here because of him. There'll be 7 guys they assigned was cut because of Tebow, even if that's unfair.
Nick, you're probably right, but there's the business side of it, and you're the resident GM. Like, you should come down to the locker room and say, guys, those Gatorades in the cooler, that's from Tim Tebow, the sales and the business around Tim Tebow. Hey, you guys want the massage therapist there? That's because of Tim Tebow. We've been struggling for years, and Tim Tebow is bringing us a little bit more.
That's fair. I just thought Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer did that already. I thought there was legitimate buzz around Trevor that you don't need this.
A little bit more.
Maybe I'm wrong.
It's expensive running a team.
Undisputed, much more coming up next. Have a great day, everybody.